Right? And I'm not playing no games. Yeah.
Oh boy! All right, Thunderbolts. Went and saw it. Thought we'd talk about it, folks. Easier than doing an edited video at this point. Thought it would just be easier to just kind of go live and hang out with you guys for a minute. It is a surprise to go to the theater and see this. I know for many of you, you're like, "What on earth? You have made that trip?" Yep, sure did. We we were given an opportunity to and an invite to spend some time with my daughter and son-in-law, and it was a treat. Wonderful day. Part of this was to get a chance to go and see Thunderbolts in theater because they wanted to. So we'll talk about the movie, get into some serious spoilers and all that. So if you don't want those spoilers, this would not be the time to watch the video. I can tell you though, the film doesn't sort of like have the weight of things that really are spoiler worthy, if that's the right way to say it. Not trying to be critical, but I feel like does it really matter that much? So the first thing I want to tell you is that different perspectives, right? So I'm a longtime comic book reader. I thought the Thunderbolts was an interesting concept, especially since Baron Zemo had been brought into the mix in Falcon and Winter Soldier, and he's sort of out there. And then we have definitely allusions to the Raft, and of course we have Red Hulk. So I thought, oh, this would be a good way for them to kind of bring some of that in, and then they kind of have these guys who are pretending, whatever. The premise was there were villains pretending to be heroes or filling the void of Avengers so they could get access to tech, all these things. Would have worked and should have worked relatively easily. However, that's not what they did. They just took a bunch of characters that some of which we haven't seen for like 5 years or longer. In the case of Mrs. Pops, she's never seen some of these characters. I didn't say we were wondering if she would be lost or not, but we were definitely questioning how much she would connect to some of the characters or what her thoughts would be because she had not watched pretty much any phase 4 or 5 content. I don't think she's seen anything. She knows who Bucky is, but even then, I'm not sure she's really watched Civil War or Winter Soldier. And if she has, it's been so long ago, she doesn't care. She doesn't know. So then you have, of course, my daughter, who's obviously fun and into this, but kind of played catch up as well. And my son-in-law is more closer to me as far as following everything pretty closely, but not necessarily as bitter and jaded as I am, definitely more optimistic. So we went into the film with sort of like a very broad spectrum of perspectives, if you will, on what to expect or what to think about said movie. I feel that everything there was a good opportunity for sort of a nice, sort of fair assessment of the film. We weren't being too, you weren't really even getting just my perspective. We'll talk a little bit from everybody's perspectives a little bit. So, the film is not necessarily driven off events from other films per se. Like it doesn't mean that you couldn't have watched those and got more out of it. I'm going to share this out. So put that in here on Twitter. And we'll see if anybody wants to join that kind of thing. So it is, for instance, like Falcon Winter Soldier obviously leads into this. There's obviously events of Black Widow, all those things. Obviously, Yelena, Red Guardian, and John Walker. If you haven't watched those shows, you have no clue to what's going on with any of those characters, how we got to this place. Then you have and I guess also Taskmaster as well. Now, Ghost is kind of the weirdest one because she hasn't really been part of anything since Wasp and Ant-Man, and no one knows much about her character. And really, even in that movie, I don't feel like we really explore a ton with that movie. And then, of course, there's been so many spoilers and so many reshoots and so many things. The film does feel kind of disconjointed at times. Like it doesn't feel like pieces go together. My wife was also talking about how the first hour of the movie, and we're going to get to the details in a second, you feel like not a lot's happened. They're repeating themselves a lot. Like, what's the point of all this? Let's get on with the film already. So the first half of the movie is that you have this character, this it's Elaine from Seinfeld. I don't know. They even make fun of her ridiculous name in the film, but I just don't care. It's Elaine from Seinfeld. She is being pulled before Congress, and they're going to do some sort of impeachment to remove her as head of CIA or whatever she is. And you have a sort of like this back and forth. What Elaine is doing, she's on like a hit mission. She's on an assassination mission. She's taking out the science uh, lab, the whole thing, all this research, and it's Elaine's trying to cover her tracks for all this shady crap and shady ops that she's been doing. Obviously, Yelena and others like John Walker have been working for her on all these sort of these black ops missions, and therefore they need to cover her tracks and hide all this from the public. And they have more evidence that they need to hide, and that's what's basically happening. And then you end up where uh, Yelena is really having a lot of emotional struggles with that. It's just she's basically almost like a rut. The rut of life as an assassin. She's kind of depressed. She's kind of sad about it all. She does go visit Red Guardian, played by David Harbour, and they don't really bond. But it's like, why didn't you talk to me after a year? It's kind of silly to still have weird relationshipy stuff that doesn't necessarily make a lot of sense, but that's what they're talking about. And you end up with the fact that they're going to be put into a room where they're all going to be face to face again with each other, and it's who's killing who. So some of the scenes work, like when she's with Red Guardian, and there's heard of this thing that he's just a complete loser dad. He drives a limo. He tries to pretend that he's not. Oh, lots of work. Got lots of irons in the fire. I'm working. I'm busy. I'm happy. But are you happy? Like, no, he's not happy. He's not doing superhero stuff. He wants to be superhero stuff. So there is some stuff here, especially for his character, because his character, he does admit ultimately that when he was happy, it was saving the day. It was saving people in the streets. It was being appreciated by all the other citizens. It was doing good work and mattering. So that does come out to play, and we'll call back to that later. But the fact that we don't really have much connection to these characters, we don't have a ton of time with them or anything that makes me love them, and instead we have this sort of like fake like villain, like I don't know, I don't get it. Like Bucky's in the Congress now, and you're kind of like, all right, it's been a minute after the events of Red Hulk. That's brought up as well. So it's after Captain Falcon 4, Cap 4. And I like, he doesn't shave. They want to have it both ways. They want him to look like Bucky, feel like Bucky, kind of act like kind of covert like Bucky, but not be Bucky, and pretend that he's not going to do those things anymore. You're like, okay, that's not what I want. I just want Bucky. Okay. And you end up with a situation where all of the main assassins are sort of like put into a room where they're all basically, that's what you see in the trailer. You see John Walker attack Yelena in this shot, and this is one of the shots, and you see them fighting or whatever. This is it. So basically, Elaine is trying to hide everything. Hey, Roman, how you doing, buddy? Hope you guys are all doing well out there. Things are going well. Yeah, just here doing my thing, man. I talk about this movie. So it's basically like Elaine is just trying to clean house. She's got them all sent there to kill one other person. So obviously John Walker sent there to kill Yelena. Yelena's there to kill the Ghost. I think Ghost is there to kill Taskmaster, right? And then I don't know. Well, there's 4 of them, 5 of them, whatever. There's big fight scenes. They're all fighting with each other, and in the process, this is all this leftover lab stuff and all these other shenanigans that are in the room, and you're trying to get a feel for what's actually kind of like out there, and then they knock over this container, if you will, and in the container is another human being, and that's the character that we meet in the trailer a little bit, named Bob. And Bob, just Bob. It is what it is. I'm like, okay. Good to see you, Roman. Been listening to your shows, obviously, and I hope you're doing good. Hope you're doing all right. And if you want to join me, let me know, man. Give me a little thumbs up in the chat. I'll throw you a link. Let you just hop in here. No problem at all, bro. I have no problem. Didn't know if you even would see this movie or not. I don't know that I can recommend it, but we're gonna talk about it. And more spoilers, folks. So they're there in this place. Turns out there's a timer that's going to go off. They're all going to be killed. All the evidence is going to be killed. There's another guy they found named Bob. They don't know why Bob is here. They don't know who Bob is. They don't know anything. And you're sort of left with this sort of like on the clock. Can they get out in time? Can they save Bob, who basically appears to be just this useless dude just standing around? We don't know about Bob. And that's kind of what's happening. All this, like I said, the Yelena fart, this no, you don't have to look like a dummy. You can just ask questions if you want, whatever you want to do, but you're fine. You're always welcome to hang out with me. That's all. So you got the Yelena set up, then this whole thing with Elaine in Congress covering her tracks. It's being basically CIA and all that, special ops and all this dirty experimentation. Then this whole assassins killing other assassins. And then they basically figure a way to get out with Bob. And then, of course, in the meantime, Elaine and her little assistant, her name is Mel, and she's just a MacGuff. She's just another fill-in character, has figured out that they're getting away. And then she's trying to leak that information or help connect with Bucky somehow. And it's all just a lot of salad of stuff happening that isn't awful. It just seems like we're taking a long time to get to something. Like, what are we doing? And I think this was where Mrs. Pops later on was saying, like, I don't know, was there a point? Like, it just felt like it went on. I looked at the clock. She's like looking at her watch kind of thing. It felt like it's been like an hour. And like, I don't think anything's really happened. They do repeat themselves a lot as well. Like, I don't know how many times, but they do kind of go over the John Walker was the sort of like second rate Captain America a couple times. And there's a lot of repetition. And I feel like this is where some of the reshoots probably hindered the final product, because you are getting shots that are basically doing the same thing again and again and again. It's just kind of a convoluted mess to say Elaine is the bad person. She's trying to wipe the slate clean, hide all the evidence of all the crap that she's done. Bucky's kind of sniffing her out as being a bad person, but can't really get anything on her. And then in the middle of all this, they release this person named Bob. Bob turns out to be a member of what's called the Sentry program. And he's basically the only survivor of this experimentation. Kind of like this, imagine like super soldier serum stuff. Basically, it makes him a god. He's like Superman. And it's ridiculous. I hated it in the comic books. And I'll be honest, I hate it in the comic books. Some people love Sentry. Well, just read Sentry #1, read a few issues, whatever. It's a dude who was like addicted to drugs and drinking and he was just a horrible person. So imagine, and there is a good line on that too, right? So the line was, well, think about the fact that we use the serum on a good person like Captain America and got Captain America, but we use the serum on a messed up person like this. What are we going to get? And that's pretty much what the premise of the movie is. So there's not exactly a villain, because she's the villain. Like, Elaine is the villain. Yeah, so Sentry is kind of B-level Superman. It's just another Superman trope. And it's just so frustrating, because you set up a Superman trope where no one in the room can defeat Superman, and we have no idea what his vulnerabilities are. And in fact, with Sentry, there are no vulnerabilities. His vulnerabilities are himself. It's one of the more retarded elements of Sentry. It's, we don't get anything. You don't get anything that's like, what is his actual weakness? It's like he doesn't really have, his weakness is himself. Yeah. Um, but really, to be honest, so because that's the biggest spoiler. The biggest spoiler is Elaine is the freaking villain. It's okay. And the movie is centering around the fact that she unleashes Sentry, turns him into, convinces him to, bleach blonde his hair. They all show up trying to deal with her, and then Bob appears and like, hey, you're not gonna mess with her, and he fights and beats them all easily. And it's so hyperbolic about how powerful he is. You're like, well, how are these guys ever going to win? And they even say that amongst themselves. So again, it's sort of this self-fulfilling prophecy of what are we doing and why are we doing it? Because you know that Bob's not really a villain, and you haven't gotten any reason for him to turn into a villain. You feel like the chemistry that Yelena and him have are enough for us. We relate more to that than this whole thing where Elaine comes in and says a few things to him and suddenly she's controlling, puppeteering him, right? Of course, he's going to turn on her. And then he becomes the evil version of himself. He becomes what's called the Void. And he's basically like a shadow monster. And the shadow monster is Bob's inner demons. It's the worst things from his childhood. It's all of the worst things he's ever done. Anything that you've ever done is what manifests as, quote, the Void. And there's a couple references to Void that set this up, presumably. And then you end up with this big thing where the Void is basically taking control of New York and he's literally like vaporizing people. And they have to find a way into his sort of like mind palace and save Bob. And that's the premise of the movie. Mrs. Pops did something I don't know that Mrs. Pops had ever done. But we'll get there. Did you get more of a Guardians or Suicide Squad? It's definitely more Suicide Squad. It is never super funny. It's full of the typical Marvel humor, the back and forth, the jabs, the little jokes here and there. Red Guardian is the one who kind of drives some of the better comedy, but it's because he's like the butt of the jokes. But even then, let me be honest, I kind of hated what they did with Red Guardian because it would have made so okay. So they set up this thing with Yelena where they're talking about her childhood, and they bond briefly over the fact that he has some pictures from her childhood. So he just loves and cares about the kids, right? And it's like, oh, there's soccer team, the Thunderbolts. We never won any games. Hence the reason they call themselves Thunderbolts. It's because of the stupid soccer team. Not because of Thunderbolts, not because of the comic books, not because of any other thing. And they're constantly playing up Thunderbolts and soccer and these gags instead of like something that would have made more sense. Like, it would have made more sense for him to be like, he's trying to learn English now, or he's trying to assimilate into our culture, and he really wants to be part of things, but he stands out because he can't stop being Mr. Russian Red Guardian. It'd make more sense if he's trying to assimilate. They could have even done things like, I've been trying to learn English now. He does like an Indiana accent because obviously he's also Hopper. And it would have been funny for the audience to see David Harbour play this off each other. They just don't. They just lean into goofy dad, Red Guardian, over the top type stuff. So yeah, I don't know. AC live pops. Yeah. More. Oh, well, hail to Osaka Comic-Con. Hail to you. Hail to James at Osaka Comic-Con. And looking forward to seeing AC and James on Star Wars Day. So they will definitely be my kickoff. And AC, yeah. We went and saw what we got. We got B-list Black Widow, D-list Captain America, B-list Superman. Yeah. Well, so this is the weirdest thing about this movie, Roman, and everybody else out there. It doesn't even lean into the work that they've done. Now, again, like I said, it's been like 5 years since we've seen Black Widow. Did she show up in Hawkeye? I guess she showed up in Hawkeye. Who cares? I don't even know. She is not really Black Widow. She feels like a generic version of herself, even. So it's really, really not leaning to Black Widow. They hate John Walker. He's not even D-list Captain America anymore. He is. They really don't know what to do with him. My wife referred to him like they really just wanted to be like a-hole Captain America, and I'm like, they've turned him into a-hole, but that's not John Walker. And even my son-in-law and I were talking about on the ride after the movie how he kills the terrorist, but he has a reason to kill it. You're not actually rooting against John Walker, so it doesn't make any sense to keep treating him this way. And they just constantly repeating themselves, talking over each other about him, and he's goofy. But Red Guardian and he are both super serum. They're powered up. Obviously, Bucky is as well. We don't ever really feel like there is power. They should be way more. And man, they really have done Bucky dirty as well. He doesn't feel like he's Bucky anymore. It just feels like a very pale version of himself. So they just have characters that they threw together in sort of a Suicide Squad sort of feel, but it was never meant to be suicide. They weren't really given a mission as a team. They just happened to fall backwards into, hey, we're going to survive and lean on each other. And there's all this, we'll go our separate ways, but they keep coming back together. Red Guardian is the only one cheerleading all that. So I was curious, but I hear conflicting things from everyone. Yeah, it is. and I guess I can just kind of get there with my general feel and everyone else general feel is the film is sort of very Midland. It is yeah, oh yeah, Bucky definitely has the raw deal. Yeah, he definitely has. He is so good in the comics, and he actually is so good in the MCU at times. And the problem is, it's like so. There's a scene in one of the trailers where you see him dishwashing. He puts his arm in the dishwasher. It's just so stupid to keep going back to these cheap gags. It makes no sense. They don't take themselves seriously. So why am I supposed to take themselves seriously? So all right. So here's the general gist of the film. It's definitely not the worst of the worst. It is, and it doesn't bother me. I know this is gonna be kind of weird for people. So, for instance, I hate Wakanda Forever. It honks me off. I hate what they do with Namor, and Ironheart's supposed to be a genius, but she's a moron. She flies in space without actually a helmet on. There's so many things that are just terrible about this movie, and everyone loves that movie, right? I can't stand like the Loki show for breaking canon, breaking lore in the first season, that kind of thing. Um, Doctor Strange 2 is more conflicting as well because there's so much of it that can be good, but it's not. It's a mess. This just feels like a generic, forgettable TV movie. You have stuff that happens. Like I said, Elaine is the villain, but she's like just, yeah. And she's just orchestrating stuff, trying to turn the Sentry against them, basically, because she wants to control everything in superhero land. Basically, she's trying to be the puppet master of superhero stuff. So it's not unbearable. It's just pointless nonsense. Like, who cares? And overall, I think that's where this movie kind of lands. It becomes this like 2 out of 5 for me. Like, it's just a mediocre, generic, forgettable, no one cares moment. And that's kind of it. Now, deeper spoilers for any of you who don't want to know, I totally want you guys to know. And yeah, AC, I question anyone who doesn't agree. Like, I really do have a hard time with people who don't get the depth of the metaphors and the social commentary because everybody talks about all that. They're trying to go for so it's like, and I will say Winter Soldier holds up so good. And I never would have I've always kind of juggled with what is right there with Winter Soldier, but I have to be honest, Guardians of the Galaxy holds up so well that the character development and the coming together and the unusual nature of the storytelling, I have to put Winter Soldier 1, Guardians 2 now, and then I'm kind of struggling. But I think Avengers is probably 3 because it's like this perfect popcorn movie. It doesn't need to be a perfect movie. It is what it is. And it's still so much fun to watch. Those are my top 3, I think. Civil War is great. There's some others that I really do enjoy. These movies are just forgettable. It's another phase 4, phase 5 thing. You're like, oh yeah, because we were driving around. We're talking about all the different things that have happened that my wife had not watched. And oh, did you guys catch up? And I mentioned Secret Invasion because when you watch a movie like this and you watch some of these other movies or shows, you always have to forget about other elements of the Marvel universe, or it won't make sense. For instance, we've had to always ignore until recently because the Falcon Red Hulk movie at least finally admitted that this giant celestial thing is out there, right? But you have to ignore there are scrolls, there are whatever, and you can't focus on the fact this is happening in the core of New York. My wife grabbed my arm because I literally let out a gasp. So in the movie, Sentry's becoming the Void, like I said, bringing this shadow monster basically onto the city, destroying things. What's New York? Where's Spider-Man? Where's Doctor Strange? Where's any other element of New York? Like it's not in a bubble. How would the Sorcerer Supreme go, whoa, 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 what's going on? And he'd put this dude in the mirror element thing. That would be the solution instantly in the comic book. Like there would be no, hey, we just do this and ignore it. So that's the problem. Now, our kind of casting as well. If Jerry Kramer and George showed up, it'd be a movie. Yeah. And Secret Invasion is the devil's. I can't stand, man. I cannot stand Secret Invasion. It was absolutely awful. Yeah, she is just Elaine. She is really one of the worst elements of the movie. There is no oomph at all. What is? Oh man, I got to look her up. In Secret Invasion, I love the lady Olivia Colman. Is that her name? She is the one that's in. Yes, Olivia Colman. She is Agent Sonya Falsworth. She's fantastic in Secret Invasion. She makes Elaine looked like a JV player. It's completely absurd. Having to live in Coleman walk into the room would have at least shook everybody up. So it was just stupid. All right, another big spoiler. And this was the big thing for me at the end of the movie. So we're going through this thing, right? So Elaine is trying to puppeteer Sentries. He's turned on her. He's turned on everyone, right? And now it's basically Sentry versus them. Yelena just feels like she can just walk into the shadow monster for some reason, and we end up in his mind palace, and then they ultimately follow her, and they're there trying to figure out how to get him out of it, try to solve whatever we could do to figure out so he can live. Hey, DJ Ronnie G, I saw you pop in. Sorry, chat is weird when you're by yourself and you have thing go by. Hey there, man. Hope you're doing okay. Kid you not, it's literally just like a visual representation of like therapy. You feel like you're in some sort of weird Netflix movie about going to therapy and dealing with your inner demons in your past. And it culminates, and I kid you not, Mrs. Pops just starts laughing out loud at the movie, and my daughter starts laughing out loud, and now they're making each other giggle, laugh each other, and I am PO'd. They basically just hug him and make him feel okay. He doesn't really glow bright again. He's punching his shadow self, and they hug him and tell him it's okay. You can stop, Bob. It's all right. And they hug him, and then they're like out of the shadow mind palace nonsense, hugging it. And literally, the ladies are just to my right are just laughing out loud at the stupidity of this twist. And I'm like, there's no villain. This is what we have. We have this. You make Superman. He manifests an evil version of himself because he becomes obsessed with all of his mistakes because he's somewhat mentally ill. And then that shadow thing gets so out of control. The only thing that can stop it is the good version of himself putting it back in the bottle. And he sort of kind of like conveniently has some sort of amnesia. At least in the comic books, they had to give him amnesia, just so we know, just so we're clear. Like, this makes so much more sense in the comic book, but not by much. Not much. Yeah, I am. Yeah, don't AC, please. Yeah, Doctor Who, Broadchurch, go. Yeah, she's been in so much stuff that's so good. So impressed by her. So impressed. But yeah, DJ Ronnie G, make sure you let me know about some of your Star Wars plans, man. We can figure some stuff out, man. I'd like to be able to figure that out. Make sure I'm promoting what you do for Star Wars Day, if nothing else. So, listen, man, you got to get to work, man. Get the Ginger Ninja cooking. Talk to you soon, brother. So that's good. That's good. So the movie does end where New York's kind of got all this stuff that's shambled. The team has been rescuing people, basically making themselves publicly known. Elaine is seeing them, and then they literally kind of like walk almost like through a curtain or something. It's very weird how they're orchestrating this moment. And Elaine basically just says, and ta-da, here are the new Avengers. Ha ha, I've been doing this all along. And you're like, what? And then Yelena steps forward and says in her ear, whispers, "We own you now." And I'm like, we just let Elaine off the hook? What? What? Like, no. It was so dumb. And instead of Bucky, which should have been the person to say, uh, no, we're here to let everybody know she's under arrest. She's the real villain. And we're all evidence. These are all evidence of the crazy assignments that they've been doing, and they have been pressured and threatened into doing some of those missions and covering it up. And this is how this Bob guy, they could have done something very quick and just, no, we didn't do any of that. So Elaine is sort of out there now. They're now the new Avengers, and that's how the movie kind of closes. And it is such a muddled mess. There's not, because there's not really a villain. Like, I really just don't understand that part. I really am having a hard time understanding what the point is in a lot of ways. So, yeah, man, angry shipyards. That's the best. That's the best. Yeah. But yeah, DJ Ronnie G, he did a lot of good. He did a really great, like, I think it was about 3 hours or so too. Remember watching that. So a lot of good stuff on Star Wars Day coming up. But yeah, I'd give the movie about a 2 out of 5, maybe a 2.5 if you can just really let some of that stuff go. I don't know. it just feels just like a big gobbledygook mess of some reshoots and corrections and starts and stops and characters that we don't really care about. The missus just really thought it was just pointless. Like, I don't know, nothing's really happening. She didn't really understand nothing's happening. Like, who cares? Like, so they find a dude who's not really evil, who has some sort of Superman powers, but then he has like, we're gonna hug it out. It was like she just couldn't believe this was happening. And we had to tell her. I said, you understand, they did this before. Captain America ends with Red Hulk. And basically, they give him a good talking to. Look at your daughter, Captain or Colonel Ross. Don't do this, Ross. Blah blah blah. And he just becomes and melts into a goo and doesn't do it, right? And then, of course, you have other moments where if we could just talk about it, it's like such a weird thing that Marvel's doing now. And I don't understand. I really don't. Then we get to some of the credit scene stuff. And this is when I actually got ticked off. So the movie was just very meh for me. I was very blah, very generic, kind of a 2 out of 5. I wouldn't watch it, wouldn't recommend it. If you were to see it as streaming or something, be like, all right, it's not the worst thing in the world. It's not as bad as like Eternals. It's not as irritating as like sitting through the Marvels. It's not as retarded as watching Black Widow and no one breaks legs when they fall off buildings, or you don't have any like, people telling you how great something like Wakanda Forever is when it's absolute dog crap. Stuff like that. No, you have this generic sort of filler movie. It's kind of like watching like Ant-Man again or Ant-Man and Wasp, or it's just like that's what they have. There's just no real villain stuff, really. The credit scenes are just dumb. Red Guardian's just being stupid. He's trying to like flirt with a girl in a grocery store because he's finally on a Wheaties box. She doesn't know who he is. It's just dumb. And then they cut to the scene that's like 14 months later. So I guess they've been New Avengers for about a year. And they're going by Thunderbolts, kid you not, because Sam Wilson is suing them over copyrights. They can't be called New Avengers. And they waste more screen time about that. And Red Guardian's joking because it's Avengers with a Z on the end. He's dressed like he's in like a NASA jumpsuit. I mean, a NASCAR jumpsuit. Oh, it's just all stupid stuff in the freaking credit scene. And then we get a Fantastic Four tease. So, hey, Snorty. What's going on, brother? Hope you're doing all right. Hopefully I was saving all you guys some time. So, the Fantastic Four tease just really tonks me off because now you feel like you kind of know what Fantastic Four is going to do, right? Because you have this 1960s alternate universe version of Fantastic Four. Galactus is coming. And then Thunderbolts ends where you see this rocket ship that flies in and you can see the four logo on it. So you're like, okay, so they escaped their universe. So I don't know if we're going to have, like in the comic books, we have like incursions where you have two universes that are going to collide. One universe has to die for the other to survive, or they smash into each other and everybody dies. Maybe. Or it could get tied to Doom. It could tie to, I don't know. It's just, we are in a place just gobbledygooking our way along, and they really teased up Fantastic Four twice. I think there's like a little bit of a little tease, and then the trailer plays, and it was absolutely rough. And Roman, I can't agree more, man. Pedro Pascal, they didn't even ask him to shave, dude. He literally has that mustache. He's unshaven, and he doesn't. He's, are we going to be okay? And he looks at the camera. It's like, I don't know. It's like, it was just so god awful. Now, I will say this too, and surprise, Mrs. Pops doesn't know anything about Silver Surfer, but even she was like, kind of like, ugh, when the Silver Surfer scenes were there because it's this little girl and it looks so bad. CGI looks so terrible. I don't know, man. And Julia Garner is this itty bitty tiny little human. I don't know how they're going to keep doing this, man. It's awful. So. RDJ, yeah, they're just gonna play some sort of weird alternate universe, switcheroo, Doom, mind changes or something. I don't know what they're gonna do, man. At this point, everyone wants to kind of know. I've had actually messages recently like, what do you think they're gonna do? What do you think about Doomsday? Dude, I don't even care, man. I'm so blah on all of this, and I feel like this was just another example of this. So let's see, what else can I tell you guys? Oh, the big Taskmaster spoiler is so legit. Oh man, It was so legit. So it's so funny, right? So you have that big scene, like I said, where they are sent there to kill each other, right? So Taskmaster is there, and they're all fighting. It's actually a pretty good fight scene. It's not too bad. And then suddenly the ghost just pops her in the head. The Taskmaster, dude. I was like, wow. Now I admit there were some rumors that it was just some random soldier, but no, it wasn't. It was Ghost. And okay, so let's talk about the characters for a minute because this is my big pet. Because Mrs. Potts kept bringing it, we kept talking. Like, what do I hate the movie so much? Well, so here's the big thing: what changes from the beginning of the movie to the end of the movie? Why do we have the movie? So Yelena isn't as depressed. She's trying to figure out if she's a leader or not. She's in this new Avengers thing, but now there's like some big threat. So she at least has a story arc. Red Guardian is still a goofball. He has kind of a bond with Yelena. He's doing superhero stuff, but he's not really significantly different. John Walker still treated like a-hole Captain America. They kind of like talk about his wife and kid leaving. I don't know. There's really not any major thing. Bucky's there. He's not in Congress. He didn't really feel like Bucky. It's like, what is the point of doing the character? What is the real character changes? You found this Superman guy who's like evil Superman guy, and he's kind of like he doesn't know who he is. We kind of like have an amnesia thing going on, and he's there just sitting on a couch like Big Lebowski and it up. Like, I did the dishes. It's so irritating that they don't have a point and a purpose and something to connect to. It's just stuff that happens. It's just bad. So you are positive the force. I am the grumpy one. That's the dynamic we agreed on. I don't know about that, man. Sometimes I'm the one that's screaming at the clouds and I'm mad. I don't know what to tell you, man. I don't know what to tell you. When it comes to comic book Marvel stuff, you know it's gonna totally honk me off. So I was not going to watch this, even with like the yacht club going on the pirate stream, but they wanted to go out for a hot date. So I was like, hey, let's go hang out with my daughter and son-in-law. Let's go have a good time. So sure. Do you guys want to take us? Take us. They paid. You know, we had a nice dinner, did some shopping and made a nice day of it. And yeah, everything Marvel right now is just a joke. We were talking about how much we enjoyed like phase 2 Marvel. Like you go back to Winter Soldier and Guardians and stuff like that. So, oh my gosh, it's such a joke compared to now. It's insane. Matt Mickelson, yeah, I guess. There's so many ways to approach Doctor Doom. I don't think there's any chance they could do Doctor Doom proper. I mean, they're treating Pedro Pascal. He's supposed to be Reed Richards. It doesn't feel like Reed Richards at all. It just doesn't feel right at all. And I know people are bad about the Thing. The Thing is the least of my concerns. He has an eyebrow. He looks like the Thing. He feels small to me. The proportions are off. Like I feel like his head's small. His stature, because he should be able to hold his own against the Hulk, right? So he should be significantly bigger. That'd be my biggest thing. Don't know about the Johnny character. It just doesn't feel right to me. He definitely doesn't feel right. I can't put my finger on that. I'm okay with Sue. And I liked Herbie, of course. You know, everything okay. So yeah. No, I'm not watching it. I'm out. I'm not watching it. Slow burn. You're fine with for season 1. I was not. I was so angry that like episodes 1, 2, and 3 should have been 2 episodes, possibly 1. 4, 5, 6 should have been 2 episodes, possibly 1. The prison scene, and then an episode where we ended up back where we are. Not that much has happened. The moment I heard about Andor with all of their shenanigans, but more importantly, I hear like we just have episodes. The main character doesn't do anything again. It's the same crap. I'm not sitting through this season where the main character doesn't do anything. So here's my theory, Roman, is with these shows now, what you can do, and I said this about Reacher season 3. Go back and watch my review. Like, you can probably just watch the whole recap for the finale and you'll be good. You can just watch the 1 hour episode and you'll be fine because it'll catch you up and you won't have to waste like 6 hours of your life. I kind of feel that's what's going to happen with Andor. We're going to get to a finale. I can watch the recap and the finale and that's good enough. And I won't have missed anything. I do like some of the feel and some of the concepts from Andor, but a 2-hour movie would have been fine. I don't need all this. This is what happened with Daredevil. It's what happens. We are in the age of mediocrity, and this is the biggest problem. They got a person that writes the first episode and the last episode, and the rest of it's just filler and a waste of our freaking time. So, I don't know, brother. I don't know. Yeah, I feel like Thunderbolts was just meh, not god awful, but awful at times. And just I don't know, the Marvel humor stuff is just so played out. It just has to be there. It just bothers me so much because it just deconstructs the tone so much. A film doesn't have a feel and a tone because you have to have these jokes. They have to cut up. And there is just stupidity. There is just no one in the room that says, hey, these are four humans that can't fly. Let's not do their escape where they go back to back with the arm thing where they go back to back. It's like, this is dumb. It's just dumb. Do something else. Just do something else. So there's so much time wasted. There's this whole thing with this Congress and this hearing with Elaine. And of course, nothing ever happens to Elaine. So what the hell do we care? Hey, Wade, what's going on, brother? Hope you're doing well, man. Hope you're doing all right. Gap after hours, man. Gap after. Oh, man. Good to see you, brother. Very good to see you. Very good. Season 2 is just bad. And that's, yeah, season 3. So many of the if they just gone before. I know. Makes no sense. There's so much time wasted on these shows. And like I said, we're in the age of mediocrity, guys. I want to tell you. I was asking the other day, I said, what is the best shows and TV that we'll be talking about of the decade? We're halfway. Like 2030. What's the best stuff? What's the best stuff? And I'm talking about stuff that should be like in conversation for best of all time. Do we have a Breaking Bad? Is there a Sopranos? Is there something? Because I heard Shogun season 1 is great. But guess what? If there's only going to be one season, they don't string together 2 or 3 things. It's just going to be some great season just kind of floats around out there. It's not something for an eternal list. It takes them so long to get anything done. Hey, remember, Roman, you're old enough like I am to remember when we used to crank out shows like twice a year. We used to do 23 episodes. They actually could do TV. It takes them like 3 years to do Andor season 2 or whatever it's been. Like, what a load of crap, man. What a load of crap. And these movies, I kept thinking about what movies are the ones that we're going to be talking about. And I'm like, the best list I have right now of this 5 years, it's going to shock people. But this is the only thing that's like, people are like really rewatchable. And so Godzilla -1. I think it's arguably one of the top 3 Godzilla movies of all time. It holds up phenomenally well. I think RR still holds up, and it's integral for bringing in cinema to the West, and it's a phenomenal fun time to watch RR. Top Gun Maverick still holds up, fun time. Everybody still talks about it when they see it. Still gives them the vibes. It still holds up. So these 3 are kind of the 3 locks that I have that are, yeah, everybody's going to still talk about those kinds of 3 things, right? And then you end up in a gray area, usually where people will agree to disagree. Like, I don't think Oppenheimer is timeless. Some people do. I think it's way too long. And I think that of Christopher Nolan's films, it's definitely not in the top 3 for me. I can't see it. I don't feel like this last year offered much, but I haven't seen Nosferatu. So Nosferatu is the one that seems to be the outlier. There's a couple other in the horror genre that people have talked about. I haven't seen them, so I can't really speak on that. But I feel like there aren't things that are sort of on that timeless list yet. What are we going to get? What are we going to get? But yeah, great to see everybody out there. Yeah, man, it is so dead and so confusing. It's not based on anything. It's just not. So, hey, Zax. Hey, brother. Hope you're doing all right, man. I love your take on Shogun, man, because everybody loves Shogun, but if Shogun doesn't have like 3 good seasons in the decade, like it probably needs to have at least 4. If it doesn't have a bigger footprint, is it like that greatest list? It just becomes that one great season. I don't know, man. I can't get into that either. Mrs. Pops at least sounded like she would consider seeing it because she likes Jared Leto, but she liked other trailers more. Mrs. Pops was like almost going to see a Wes Anderson movie. I was like, what? You would sit through Wes Anderson? Like that was odd. So there were a couple trailers. Tron was not the one that she would like gung ho about, even though she does like chicken. I don't know. I'm not really looking forward to much. I'm not looking forward to Superman. I'm not looking forward to Fantastic Four. I'm not looking forward to Jurassic Park. I don't know what to look forward to, man. I don't know. Okay, I should say I am kind of looking forward to watching F1, which is a Formula One racing movie by how do you say it? What's the guy who did Maverick? Anyway, I'm kind of interested in seeing that. I would go see it in a theater. If my son-in-law wants to go, I definitely would go. I'm actually interested to find out what Black Phone 2 will be like, because I'm going to do a rewatch of Black Phone 1. I really enjoyed Black Phone. I thought it was very interesting, and it felt like kind of Stranger Things. Like, it felt like they did a good job with the time frame. I don't know. The guy that made Godzilla Minus One is going to make some new stuff, so I'm interested to see what he can do, because he seems like a super talented guy who could do some really good stuff with a budget. So I don't have, yeah. Oppenheimer. Yeah. I don't know, man. I don't know. Yeah. Are we gonna get? Yeah, I don't know. Where's all the science, man? I don't know. I hated it. So DJ Ryan G, I love your thoughts. Have you ever seen the TV show called Manhattan, which was about making Manhattan Project and all that? Because I felt like this is kind of what many of us want Oppenheimer to be, and just never got there. So yeah, this was a very good in that regard. I don't know if it was a timeless thing. I just got to watch it. I gotta be in the right mood to watch it. Is the problem, because it's not one you can just kind of have on in the background. And I got to really dial in. So yeah. Let's see here. Yeah, I am so worried over Superman. They didn't show a Superman trailer or anything like that. Mrs. Pop said Henry's not in it. No, she's like, I have no interest. So, we discussed the James Gunn, loving James Gunn stuff during dinner, and we were talking about everything going on with DC and the Batman problem, just everything. It's just a mess. So the other thing too, I guess it kind of fits what we were talking about, Roman. Like, what are the great 2 or 3 things? But who are the great people? Like, we don't make Hollywood celebrities anymore. We don't really have great directors anymore. We don't have, like, who is making the stuff? Like, what are we doing? And maybe that's just where we're at now. Maybe the world's just evolved and changed, and we're just in a lull where this happened. So, because I've been going back and I was watching stuff in like the late 60s and early 70s, and it was kind of like there is sort of a lull where some of the stuff just didn't hold a candle to stuff that came after or before. So, but if you guys have other questions, I'll prefer to ask them or recap what I've talked about. Princess Leia Rose is here. Great to see you. Life does have surprises, and that was me going to a movie. I know. That was that one. So, oh yeah. Jaws 50 would be cool. And they showed the teaser for seeing the Fathom re-release for Father's Day of Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. So I'm down for that. So I'm hoping that the son-in-law and the daughter got that hint that I want to go see that for Father's Day weekend. I don't go on Father's Day. I want to go for the Saturday or something. Yeah, Black Phone was fun. It felt like the 70s though, didn't it, bro? It felt like we were living there, man. They had all the good stuff, good vibes, did. So let's see. Poor guy touched the demonic orb. Yeah, maybe. Hopefully you've seen it. Yeah, it's just, age of mediocrity, man. That's what I'm gonna call it. It's the age of mediocrity. I don't know what's great anymore. And people say, I was looking at some of the reviews for Thunderbolts just because we were, driving around or whatever, and I was like, there are so many people that are giving this like 4 out of 5, and I'm like, what world are you in where this is a 4 out of 5? And they were giving things 5. Like, who's giving 5s out? Like, what? I don't understand the 10s, the 9s and the 10s for everything. I don't understand the scale. Like, you have not seen enough movies. I just don't. I don't understand it. And I know that's always been this way. I know it's always been a problem. So I got a list of things I'm excited for, but I had to do some digging. I have to figure out the list. But I got to be honest, now I'm more excited about Last Crusade and Jaws. I would put Black Phone on the list as I wouldn't mind seeing that in the theater right away. Formula One, I'm gonna pull up movie release schedule. Let me see what else there is here that we could chat about briefly to see. Because I know there was a few other things that we were talking about because we were pulling them on the phone, and I kept thinking to myself, I'm just not interested. Superman is going to totally tick me off. It's just totally going to tick me off. That's all I can say. I'm just going to be mad. There's a whole bunch of stuff that just didn't seem that appealing to me when I was looking at this list of stuff coming out. And maybe I should be excited. I'm just not. And the box office, let's see here. Oh, this went back too far. Hold on. Sorry, it went all the way back to January. Why did I not do that? I want to do that. I don't want all that stuff. I'm getting all these most because I didn't see Minecraft, so I don't know how bad that is. I don't know for sure. I don't know what to think. I really don't. I'm not interested in watching their stupid movie with Jack Black in it. I just can't do it. So I haven't seen it. Not going to see it. So let me see. Let's get to May. Yeah, obviously the Rust thing. I'm not watching that. I'm not giving those people my money. Would never watch any of that kind of stuff. I don't know. Fight or Flight, maybe I'd go see. I wouldn't mind seeing that. I've heard good things about it from somebody I know, but I don't know. I can't trust these people. They don't have good taste anymore. I'm always interested in seeing Mission Impossible movies in theaters, but I don't necessarily have high hopes. I thought the last one was one of those missed opportunities of being good, but not great because it was too long. Yeah, the Razzies. Yeah, the Razzies are so, yeah. Oh, these are good. You like this? They're good? Better things like Kate White Lotus, Righteous Gemstones, some really good shows. Not sci-fi, but yeah, no, the best stuff has been drama. Rome, I 100% agree with that. Shogun, obviously one everybody talks about. Bear is that good. I think you could even say when you talk about things getting down to like an 8, not like the 9, 10 kind of category. You talk about things that are very solid, like a 7 and an 8. That's where you get into like Tulsa King. They're dramas. Dramas have been the better things. So 100%. Yeah, bro. What a waste of time. Just an absolute waste of time. And if you didn't hear it or you're behind, you can rewind the clock. It's telling the story. Mrs. Pops literally laughs out loud at the end of this movie. Starts laughing. Got my daughter laughing. Now they're laughing at each other. And I'm peed off, man. I am ticked off at how stupid it got. So, yeah, man, hug it out. Just hug it out, bro. Just hug it out. But yeah, I was going through the list of some stuff and I didn't find anything super. Like I said, I was more excited about seeing Last Crusade in theaters, Jaws in theaters. 28 years later, I would go see that. Yeah, that's in June 20th. Yeah, Danny Boyle coming back to direct that. I'm down with that. Like I mentioned, Joseph Kosinski, that's who it was. He directs F1. F1 looks great. F1 looks fun. So we'll see. I don't know. I don't have a desire to see. Oh, they're doing another Happy Gilmore direct to Netflix. Oh, I don't know about that. Ooh. Nobody 2 in August. I'm down to see that. Yeah, I like Nobody. We have Nobody scheduled as a talk hard because I enjoy Nobody so much. So I just put it on the list because I can. So yeah. That gets me into October. We're already, see how far we have to go to find something else. Like I mentioned, Black Phone 2. I would sit through that. The Running Man remake is a possibility because Edgar Wright directed it. So I'm very maybe on that. And yes, Loki was right about Sisu 2. I don't know anything about it. It's on the slate in November. I don't care if Sisu 2 we're told that it's dog crap. I'm going to go see Sisu 2. Sisu 1. Sisu is a freaking great guilty pleasure. So, yeah, I'm with you, man. He looks so tiny in the suit, bro. What is the deal with that? What is the deal with the suit? Look, it doesn't fit. Like it's too big. It's so weird. Okay, these are recommends, Zach's. All right. Chad Powers will be funny. Fountain of Youth has a good cast. National Treasure. Red Sonja has a chance. Oh, you really think Red Sonja has a chance? Ooh, I don't know about that, man. Smashing Machine looked really good, but just a stupid name for a movie. Night of the Seven Kingdoms, maybe. Oh, I just saw this stuff, and I was looking into this a little bit, and I don't know how I feel about that either, man. Don't know. I want it to be so good. Oh my gosh, I love it. It'd be so good. Um, yeah. Well, it's tough. I don't have it, so I don't know. So I need a hug. Yeah, I know. I feel like I do sometimes. I'm gonna go to bed now, and Mrs. Pops can hug me, give me a little kiss goodnight or something. Hopefully, she's still awake. She's in there probably laughing at me because she knows that I'm going to be venting with you guys more than I'm doing anything else. But it wasn't the worst thing in the world, but it wasn't good. And there's a hug at the end of the movie. It saves it. I'm so stupid. Like, so if we're not talking a way out of these problems, we're hugging. I literally just couldn't believe it was that dumb. She literally just laughed out loud, guys. I'm not joking. She just starts laughing. Smashing Machines, the documentary. Oh, okay. Well, that makes sense. I just thought it was a dumb movie. It's a dumb name. Like, the problem is marketing. I'm having a hard time because I actually just did my screener for Last Rodeo, which is the next Angel Studios movie. And after watching it, or rushing to watch it because they sent it to me, I'm told I shouldn't release my review until the 13th. But I can say this: I'm like, why are you releasing this movie on mid-May? Their release schedule marketing people are really doing them dirty because it's the worst. It's gonna be a bomb because it's released at the wrong time of the year, man. Even whatever good qualities there are, they're releasing movies that is the wrong time of the year. Smashing Machine to me feels like the wrong name for the movie. So, all right, let me close with Thunderbolts. Any other questions or comments? It wishes it was good as the Suicide Squads. It's more generic and bland. It has a very like a tolerance level. Like it's okay to just be on in this great sort of vanilla way with this really dumb ending, but there's really no villain. Like, and then Elaine doesn't go to jail, man. Like it doesn't give you what you want. Like, I don't understand what the hell we're doing this for then. Like, why would you not want her to pay for what happened here? So it bothers me so much that they continue to do John Walker the way they are, Bucky the way they are. Oh, I didn't mention Ghost. Poor Ghost. So this girl that plays Ghost, it feels so stupid that the movie ends the way Wasp and Ant-Man does, right? Ant-Man and Wasp movie. Remember that Ghost character? No one does because it's been so long ago. Well, she shows up and she's sort of like okay. And the kind of movie kind of goes along. We're unpacking different stories about everybody. And I realize as we're driving, I'm like, they didn't really do anything with that character. She'd just have a random line. They didn't talk about her backstory. They'd say, yeah, I was experimented on. Like, okay. We never. So she's just allowed to be in the movie, but they don't do anything with her. I feel so bad for this actor. It's like she got invited back. She got invited to the party, and she's just there. She has got a cool power, and they have a cool fight scene when they use her. It's so weird, and this movie is just such a waste of time, and it's a disaster. The last thing I wanted to say, oh my gosh, we were going to be so rushed because of time to get to like I think it was a 10:30 show we were going to catch on a Saturday. So on a Saturday, we looked and there were 3 people in the auditorium. So I'm like, well, we're not going to be rushed. So we can just get there when we get there. There was 11:35 and there's a 1:00. There's all these different. So I kind of started looking. The most anyone in there was 13 people. No one was in the theater. When we got there, the lights go down. I did a head count. So counting us, there's less than 20 people. Counting us. That's a disaster for this movie. So I don't know what the numbers are going to be. We'll see. Solomon Kane gives me a chance and hope, huh? Yeah. I don't believe at this point we're going to get anything like a Conan Red Sonja that's going to deliver. I mean, I wish. I can only wish. Robert Rodriguez is talking about it with his conversations with Joe Rogan, Lex Friedman, Tim Ferriss. He did like the podcast circuit. And it's very repetitive, by the way. He actually had a good publicist who went and sat with him and talked about 2 or 3 prep things. And actually, his conversation with Rogan is almost like talking over Joe or trying to control the conversation. So it doesn't feel like a good flow. It flows better in the other interviews. He talks about the Conan stuff. He's a huge Frazetta guy. And it feels someone that would be more connected to do it right. But no one asked him about Star Wars. Nobody. I feel like it was off the thing. That's my biggest question right now on all the Robert Rodriguez little podcast tour right now is, did they go into the room and say, you're not allowed to talk about Star Wars? Because no one brought it up that I saw. So maybe I missed it, but I mean, we're talking about hours of podcast time and no one asked about Mandalorian and Star Wars and that whole debacle, Book of Boba Fett, all the stuff that he was kind of part of. Oh, this was a huge topic of discussion for the fam. Going to the theaters and then getting there, and there's no one there. We parked in the third space, handicap space. Someone's parked there, third space, on a Saturday at 1 for a 1 afternoon show on Marvel opening weekend. It's just done. So. All right, guys, I am going to tiptoe on out of here with you guys. I am done myself.
Yeah. Right? And I'm not